I'm 28 now, and as I sit alone in my apartment, the city outside my window hums with life. But tonight, that hum feels louder than usual, almost as if it's trying to drown out my thoughts. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about Larry, my ex, and Tyson, who used to be my best friend, or at least someone I thought held that title. It's strange how life twists in directions you never expect, how the people you believe you know can morph into strangers, and how a series of choices can quietly accumulate into something so destructive you end up sitting in the wreckage wondering how everything went so wrong. Larry was my anchor for 3 years. We met by accident, literally, at a coffee shop downtown. He spilled his latte on my shoes, panicked, apologized profusely, and insisted on buying me a new pair. That moment captured who Larry was. Clumsy, endlessly kind, and always trying to fix things. He wasn't the kind of person who lit up a room or made grand gestures. He was dependable, thoughtful, a quiet force. He had a stable job as an accountant, paid everything on time, showed up when he said he would. There was comfort in that. I felt safe with him, like I could close my eyes and fall backward, knowing he'd always catch me. Our nights together were simple, but warm. We'd cook dinner. His spaghetti was awful, but I'd eat every bite just to see the joy on his face. He'd ramble on about his day, about balance sheets and client calls, and I'd tease him for being a little boring. But the truth was, I admired it. I admired him. Then there was Tyson. We'd been close since college, back when we thought the world revolved around late nights and impulsive decisions. He was everything Larry wasn't. Spontaneous, reckless, unpredictable. He'd show up unannounced with a six-pack and a grin, pull me out of the house for some random adventure. Dive bars, joyrides, rooftop conversations that stretched until sunrise. He lived like the world owed him a good time, and he intended to collect. There was always an undercurrent between us. Teasing touches, a little flirtation. He'd call me babe when Larry wasn't around, and I'd laugh it off, tell myself it didn't mean anything. I needed it to mean nothing. But over time, things began to shift. Larry got busier, more tired. He'd come home drained, and I'd find myself restless, aching for noise, for movement, for someone to look at me like I wasn't just part of a routine. So I started texting Tyson again. Just casual at first. Drinks. Catching up. But the more time I spent with him, the more alive I felt. Like I'd rewound time and stepped back into a younger, lighter version of myself. Tyson brought out a recklessness I'd buried. He brushed my waist a little too long while we danced, his knee pressed against mine under a blanket as we watched terrible movies. I told myself we were just friends. That line blurred slowly, quietly. But it blurred. Larry started noticing. He never exploded. He just got quiet. His eyes would linger on me longer, his voice tighter when he said, "You've been out a lot lately." I dismissed it, told him he was overthinking. Tyson's just a friend, I'd say, but it wasn't that simple anymore. The arguments crept in slowly. Then, all at once, fights about where I'd been, who I was with. I'd accuse him of being possessive. He'd try to understand. But I kept seeing Tyson. Kept lying. I told Larry I needed space, needed time to manage my anxiety. But I was using that space to run off with someone else. I knew it was wrong, but part of me felt powerful in the lie, manipulating the truth to keep both lives afloat. Watching Larry soften when I told him I was overwhelmed, it made me feel cared for, even as I twisted the knife deeper. It all unraveled one Tuesday night. I left my phone out while I showered. A message from Tyson lit up the screen. "Miss you already, babe?" Followed by a winking emoji. When I walked out, Larry was holding the phone. His face was pale, unreadable. He asked quietly, "What's this?" I tried to lie. Said it was a joke, Tyson being Tyson. But Larry wasn't a fool. He scrolled, read the late-night chats, the half-hidden plans, the suggestive exchanges. Found a photo of us at a bar, Tyson's arm around me, my head resting on him. There was no denying it. The proof was right there, and all I had left were excuses. He didn't yell, didn't throw anything. He just stared at me like he'd never seen me before. "How long?" he asked. I stumbled, tried to minimize it. He stopped me. "Don't lie to me, Sarah. Not now." So I told him. Weeks, maybe months. depending on how you defined it. I swore nothing physical had happened, but I confessed to the flirtation, the time I'd spent with Tyson instead of him. He nodded, quietly, then stood up and said, "Block him, right now." I hesitated. That was enough. "I'm done," he said. Calm. Final. He grabbed his keys and left. The silence he left behind was louder than any fight we'd ever had. I didn't realize how much of my life was tied to Larry until he was gone. The apartment felt cavernous without him. His books, his favorite mug, the way he'd fold the laundry and hum under his breath. He took care of so many things I took for granted. Even rent. I was suddenly alone in ways I hadn't expected. Emotionally, financially. So I reached out to Tyson, looking for comfort. Something. But he'd changed too. Or maybe he never was what I imagined. He was distant, detached. "You'll be fine," he said over the phone, like I was a burden. A week later, I saw him at a bar with a blonde on his arm, laughing like I never existed. He didn't even glance my way. That's when it hit me. He was never going to catch me if I fell. He never planned to. Since then, I've spent countless nights replaying everything. I was selfish. I wanted Larry's consistency with Tyson's chaos. I thought I could juggle both without consequences. But I hurt someone who genuinely loved me. I broke something I can't fix. And even now, a part of me wanted to pretend like I didn't deserve how it ended. But I know better. I wasn't the victim. I made choices, and I have to live with them. I'm seeing someone new now. Mark. We met through a mutual friend. He's kind, funny in a quiet way, awkward in a way that feels real. We've gone on a few dates, and I like him, but I'm different now. I hesitate. I overthink. I hold back. I haven't told him everything about Larry or Tyson. I'm not sure I ever will. Not because I'm hiding, but because I still don't know how to explain the mess I made without sounding like I haven't learned anything. Some nights, I lie in bed, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I lost, wondering what parts of me are still broken. I want to move forward. I want to grow. But the past clings to me like damp clothes after the rain. Heavy, cold, and I don't know when or if I'll ever be completely free from it.